Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to the School of Personal Finance. A few days ago I posted a video called Velocity Banking is a Marketing Gimmick, and today I'm going to do part 2. I'm going to show you clips from the same presenter. Now I'm not picking on her, it's just I'm happening to see her videos come up in my feed a lot. So I watched another one this morning, and she made a video because somebody else had criticized the way that she calculated velocity banking, and they said that it was wrong, so she's showing how she was actually right. But I'm going to say that they're both wrong and that you don't need to do velocity banking here. And she states in her video that it is just math, and I agree, it is just math. So I'm going to show you an alternative way to do this without having to open up personal lines of credit where you actually come out ahead. I hope that you find this one helpful. Let's get to it. All right, so she starts out this video by talking about how this other YouTuber is kind of coming at her and she's going to prove him wrong. So let's watch the first 30 seconds of this clip just to lay the foundation, and then we'll look at the numbers.
I send blessings to him because I know that maybe he's trying to gain views or something. I don't know, but it's not working. Because why? It's just math, right? So let's look at the numbers. So in his video, he was showing an income of $29.05, expenses being $12.86, and cash flow at $16.19. Now the PLOC he had was at 10.99%. The car loan was at $12,381 with a monthly payment of $286. Now notice he said that it was a 4-year loan with 46 months remaining. Okay, so let's take 286 times 46. We get $13,156 would then be the total payoff if he just let the payments run out for 46 months, right?
So now one quick thought here, she's comparing it to paying the car loan over the 4 years, letting the payments play out. And I don't think that anybody would say that's the fastest way to pay off the loan, right? In this example, they have $1,619 of cash flow. So they would take that cash flow to accelerate the payoff of the car loan and pay the loan with that cash flow each and every month. So yeah, I think we all agree that spreading it out over the 4 years, the total amount would be $13,156 that you would pay, but nobody would do that because we want to pay the car loan off as fast as possible, and we already have excess cash flow, right? Our income is more than our expenses, so we could just take the difference and make extra payments to the car loan.
Okay, so now let's just go ahead and transfer that car loan into the PLOC, paying it off, and let's see what our numbers look like here in just a few months, okay? So we took the $12,381 car loan, paid it off into the PLOC. So that means this payment is gone, and now that is added into this cash flow. But it is also taken off of this expense amount. So the $1286 now becomes $1,000, right?
So let me just explain that if you're not familiar with velocity banking. So what she's talking about doing here is taking the car loan and paying it off in full using a personal line of credit. This personal line of credit is at an interest rate of 10.99, and she's paying off a car loan which is at 2.5% interest. By paying off the car loan, they will no longer have this $286 a month car payment, right? So their monthly expenses are going down by $286. So that's where she came up with that $1,000 new monthly expense. All right, and the cash flow is going up by that amount because they will have this new cash flow because they don't have that car payment anymore. But that's deceiving because the goal is to pay off the debt. So even if you do it in the monthly payment to the car, or if you just take it all, dump your income in the line of credit and then leave it in there, it's still going to the same place, which is paying off your debt. The goal is to pay down the balance of this $12,381 as fast as possible. And what I'm going to show you is that it actually turns out better and faster if you just make the normal payment using the excess cash flow. So you pay the $286 payment and you take your excess cash flow of $1,691 and you attack the debt using it. You will be better off than doing this personal line of credit stuff, paying it off, transferring it back and forth. There is not a need to do that.
$1286 minus $286 is $1,000. Got it? The car loan has been paid off into the PLOC. The income in month 1 goes in. Doesn't matter how, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, whatever. Bringing the balance down to approximately $94.76. Now let's add those expenses back in. So we're at $10,476. We're going to add some interest in. Now, the wise guy, he took the interest times the average daily balance. I'm going to take the interest times the high, just to leave some room for error and to see just how much better we do, even if we're paying a high rate every month. So that came to $114 in interest that he would pay off of the high of $12,381. He'll never pay that much. Bringing his balance to $10,590. Month 2.
All right, so let's stop there. So at the end of the month, the balance that they still owe on this personal line of credit is $10,590. And the way she calculated interest, she did it on the worst case scenario, right? Because you are taking your income, you're putting it into the personal line of credit, so that reduces the average daily balance in that line of credit, which will reduce the income expense. But she just took it from the high as a worst case scenario. So $114 in interest, that probably is more than what they would end up paying here. It just depends on when you get paid throughout the month and when your expenses, when you need to send the money back out of there. But I say, screw all of this stuff, and let's just look at how does it play out if you just take your excess cash flow and you put it towards paying the car. So in this situation, they have $1,619 of cash flow left over, right? So their monthly income is $2,905. Their monthly expenses, $1,286, of which $286 is a car payment that is going to go to reduce the balance of the car that they have. Plus, on top of that, we are going to make a principal payment to the car loan of $1,619. So let's just do the simple math. So if we start out with $12,381 on the car loan, we make a principal payment of $1,619. We also make our normal payment of $286. At the end of the first month, we have $10,476 left on the car loan. As you can see, it is the exact same number as she is using right here, $10,476. And now she added interest of a worst case scenario of $114. So now our payment of $286 a month that we're sending to the car, that does have a principal and interest component. So if we look at just a regular amortization schedule, let's see how much interest would be paid on that third payment out of the 48 payments to the car loan. All right, so now this is just a simple loan amortization schedule. So if we just look at the interest charge right here, in month 3 of the car payments, right, they've already made 2 payments. Now in this next one, it will be $26 in interest. So compare that to the interest that they're paying on the PLOC of whatever it was, the $114, the interest charge is significantly different. So let's go ahead and add the $26 to the $10,476 as our interest charge, and we would get $10,502 that we currently still have outstanding on the car loan. All right, let's go to month 2 now. Now we're just going to do this each and every month, right, until it's paid off. But let's look at month 2 real quick.
The income is going to go in, bringing him down to $76.85. Let's pull his expenses back out again. And interest. The interest is off of the high, $10,590. The bank does an average daily balance. I'm doing it off of the high balance, okay? Just to be clear, I am charging high interest here. So in month 3, the income is going to go in.
Oh, let's just stop. She goes fast in this, right? You got to keep up with it. And that's part of, the trick to all of this, in my opinion, is that it goes so fast, it's hard for people to actually break it down and understand what's going on. And it makes it seem like they're getting out of debt so fast here. But the reality is, if you just go ahead and use your excess cash flow to pay the car faster, you come out in a better place. So now for us in month 2, we're starting out with $10,502 because our interest charge was less, right? We're at 2.5%. And now we're going to take our cash flow of the $1,619. We're going to pay it towards the car. We're going to take our normal monthly payment of $286, make that payment towards the car, and we'll be left with a balance of $8,597. And now in this month, our interest charge again is $26. So if we add that interest charge, we'll be at $8,623 that we currently owe on the car after 2 months of making these additional principal payments. And now that is compared to their $8,782 that they owe on this personal line of credit. All right, let's look at month 3.
I am charging high interest here. So in month 3, the income is going to go in, bringing his balance down to $5,877. His expenses have to come out again, and here's the interest again. So I charge the 10.99% off of the high $87.82, and we get $81.
All right, so at the end of month 3 there, they still owe $6,958 on the personal line of credit. So now let's look at where we're at. So now we started month 3 with $8,623 left on this car loan. We're going to take our cash flow, $1,619. We're going to take our monthly payment, $286, make those payments to the car loan, and we'll be left with $6,718. And now we will have $25 that would be going towards interest. So we add that back to the balance, and we end the month with $6,743 compared to where they're at with $6,958. So now you can see here in the next month, they're going to drop to $2,905 of income into the line of credit, bringing it down to $4,053. Then they're going to add the $1,000 of expenses. They add the interest. And at the end of month 4, they're going to have $5,117 left on that personal line of credit. So now for us, we are starting month 4 with $6,743 that we still owe on the car loan. We're going to take our $1,619 cash flow. We're going to throw it at the car loan. We're going to take our normal payment, $286, pay the car loan, and we're going to owe $4,838. All right, I'm still going to add an interest number of $25, even though that's not correct anymore, because now we've paid off more of the balance. So the interest that we're going to be charged is even less than that. All right, but I'm just going to add $25. That will give us an ending balance after 4 months of just throwing our excess cash flow at it and making our normal payments. We're going to owe $4,863 compared to where they're currently at $5,117. All right, so to keep going, so with month 5 from them, so they start with $5,117. They drop their income into it. right? They're down to $2,212. They take their expenses out of it, they add the interest, and now they owe $3,259 on the personal line of credit. Let's see where we're at. So for us, we start month 5 owing $4,863. We're going to pay the $1,619 out of our cash flow to pay down the loan. We're going to pay our monthly payment of $286, and we will be left with $2,958. And I'm going to add the $25 of interest to that outstanding balance, so we end month 5 with $2,983. All right, so now month 6 for them, they start with $3,259. They drop their income into the personal line of credit. Now they owe $354. They write their expenses, they write their bills out of there. That adds $1,000 to it plus the $30 interest. They end up with $1,384 that they owe. So their balance at the end of month 6 is $1,384 left on that personal line of credit. So now let's see where we're at. So now for us, we're starting month 6 owing $2,986, and we're going to pay $1,619, our excess cash flow, to pay off the loan. We're going to make our normal payment, $286. After those 2 payments, we are going to owe $1,081 on the car loan. We'll add $25 worth of interest, even though there's no way it's that high because we have such a small balance left, but I'll still add $25. So we'll have $1,106 that we still owe on this car loan after 6 months, compared to $1,384, which is where they're at. So now starting off month 7, they owe $1,384. So they're going to take their income, they're going to offset that. They're going to drop $1,384 in there, and they will be paid off with this in month 7. All right, so now let's look at where we're at in month 7. Now we walk into month 7 only owing $1,106 on the car loan. So we could go ahead and make our $286 payment, and now we take $820 from our cash flow to wipe the loan out to 0. So we have $1,619 in cash flow. We only have to take $820. The rest now we have to do whatever we want with, right? And now we both have paid off our loans in month 7. And she shows here the total interest that they paid to do this, when she's saying that this is saving money, was $433 in interest charges over those 7 months. But if you look at it our way, we just took our excess cash flow, paid down the car faster, right? Our interest charges, it was only, and I used the high amount because the balance went down significantly over time, right? So the interest charges will go down as well. But even if we use $25 a month over 7 months, that's $175 in interest. So it's less than half of the interest that she was charged by going through this Velocity Banking and transferring it over to a personal line of credit at 10.99%.
So when I figured the total high interest on this account, it would be $433 to pay off this car loan with the PLOC, meaning he would pay a total of $12,814 if he did it through the PLOC. What was the total amount paid for the 46 months if he had done that on the car loan? $13,136?
See, this right here is also very deceptive. You're not comparing apples to apples. So obviously you're going to pay less if you pay it off using this method in 7 months compared to just making the normal $286 payment every month and taking 46 more months to pay it off. Obviously you're going to pay more that way. But if we compare it to what I just did, where we take that cash flow, like I don't know what she's doing with the excess cash flow. If you paid over 46 months, then what are you doing with that excess $1,619 of cash flow that you have every month, right? It's just not being calculated in anything. If you take that cash flow and you use it to pay off the car, the same way she's using it to pay off the car, just through a personal line of credit, but instead if you just make the excess payments to it the way that I showed you, you are also done in 6.5 months, and the total amount of payments was $12,686 that way.
This would have saved him $332 in interest charges? Wait a minute though. This is paid off in less than 7 months. This was 46 months. So does that mean that he saved 39 months in making payments and $332 in interest? It's just math, people. It's just math. I am sorry for the lighting in this room. I'm sorry for the small board. But when I got that email of somebody wondering if this guy was talking truth or not, well, in the guy's mind, he was talking truth. But in reality, when you do the math, Velocity Banking wins again. I don't try to knock people down. I'm not trying to say that my concept is better than yours. I'm not interested in that.
So I feel about her the same way she feels about this other person. Like, I'm not trying to knock her down. I'm just showing you that it is just math. And I think that my math is better than her math. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. All right. Thank you for being here. I will see you again in the next video. I'm going to post a video on Friday talking about how interest gets applied to amortized loans compared to lines of credit, because I feel like there's a lot of people that just don't understand exactly how those payments work. I hate the term like front-loaded interest. All right. I think that's another marketing type of term that people use, but I'm going to explain that stuff in my next video. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Thanks.